If I'm being completely honest, I don't know anybody who isn't addicted to social media in some way or another. In fact, if you tell people that you're not on Instagram, that you're not on Facebook, they think you're a weirdo. And most of the time, people won't outright tell you this, but you can sort of tell by the facial expressions. So let's talk about social media in a little bit more detail because when used to the extreme, meaning you use it for hours, day in and day out, it has the potential to be very problematic. Well, the first negative of excessive social media use is the effects it can have on your mental health. And one of the reasons as to why this is to do with a chemical in your brain called dopamine. And many people actually refer to social media as digital crack cocaine. And you know what? They wouldn't be far off the mark by saying this because, yes, you are not smoking crack, but every time you get a like, every time you get a comment, every time you get a notification, you are getting a small hit, or should I say, boost of dopamine. This works in a very similar way to drugs. And what happens when you keep getting these small dopamine releases throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the months, throughout the years, is that you get hooked. You start craving it like a drug. Hence why you start scrolling, and hence why you check your phone, even though a notification hasn't pinged. As a result of this, your brain changes. And if you were to go to, say, like a doctor and get a brain scan of a social media user and get a brain scan of a drug addict, the brains would probably look very similar. It's frightening because practically every man, woman, and child is walking around with a smartphone in the pocket. I've heard a really smart guy say something along the lines of that there are only two industries where they refer to their customers as users, and that is computers and drugs. Just let that sink in for a minute. Another huge problem with excessive social media use is one, excessive comparison, and two, body image issues. And obviously, this can be problematic for some people's mental health. You see, I'm 36 years old and I grew up in an era where social media didn't even exist. I remember coming back from school, turning on the TV, and there was only four channels. Now the world is completely different. And if I was a kid growing up in today's world, I honestly do not know how well I would handle social media. You see, one of the problems with social media is that it's not real. It's actually fake. I actually call Facebook fake book because what you'll tend to find is that people are basically showcasing a version of themselves that they want you to see. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't know anybody who doesn't have problems. Every single person has a problem. But if you spend too much time on social media, you wouldn't know that. You would think that everybody is living the dream life. I want to emphasize the word dream. It's all bullshit. I'll be honest with you, if I did one of those vlogs where you just followed me day in and day out, my guess is that you probably wouldn't watch it. And you want to know why? Because my life isn't exactly the most exciting. I eat practically the same food every day and I've got bills to pay. And this is a life for most people. But like I said earlier, social media doesn't show you that side. And with regards to body image issues, all I can say is be very careful who you follow online. Because what I've found is that the people who are stood there half naked on a thumbnail, generally speaking, aren't the people to follow, because health and fitness isn't solely about your appearance. It's about performance inside and outside the gym, and it's about how you feel. Exercise is supposed to make your life better, not put you in a cage. Let's just get straight to the point with this one, and that is sleep is the bedrock of health. You can go weeks without eating. And by the way, that is not something that I would recommend, but the human body can do it. Try going 72 hours without sleep. It's probably not going to happen. So I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me when I say this, and that is sleep is super, super important. Yet many people use social media before bedtime, and this is problematic. And the first reason why is that smartphones emit blue light. For those that don't know, blue light keeps you awake. It suppresses a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin is what tells your body to shut down and go to sleep. The second reason is that social media, it stimulates your brain. It gets you excited. Let's say, for example, you're trying to sleep and you're counting sheep. And all in a sudden, you get a notification, ping, and then you go on your phone and then you go on social media. Because you're watching content on social media, it gets your brain stimulated, hence making it way more difficult to fall asleep. In this video here, I said something along the lines of that after 8 p.m., do not use screens at all, and that includes the television. Before creating this video, I did research with regards to healthy social media use, and the number that kept coming up time and time again was 30 minutes. This is what the experts are recommending. They're recommending 30 minutes per day. However, before I discuss the strategies, it's important that you understand that perfection is not the goal here. All you can do is do your best, because the algorithm has been perfectly designed to trap you. I always say this, and that is the algorithm probably knows me better than I know myself. So the first strategy is simply to use a timer. So whenever you go on social media, before you go on social media, you put a 30-minute timer on your phone and let it run. Once that timer finishes, you go off social media. And a very good thing to do when trying to install new habits is to link it to another habit. And this is where walking comes in. So after you've used social media, you go for a walk. And here's the thing with walking, not only does it boost your energy, not only does it help you digest your food, not only does it get blood circulating around your body, but it also increases something called BDNF, and that is basically fertilizer for your brain.